estimates from Tater and Howard, and there was some astronomical prices in there that brought the project pretty high up in the budget scale. It was $240,000 somewhere, give or take. A lot of that was, they had proposed to have an engineer there throughout the whole project, and that was a big chunk of money. Weston and Sampson didn't feel that that was going to be needed. Plus, 10 years ago, it was designed to have 60 some odd catch basins put in that, along that section.
Yes.
We're talking about.
We did.
Weston and Sampson didn't feel that 60 catch basins needed to be put there. So there would seem to be a disagreement between the two firms. So that's why they felt that the plan should be redesigned, and perhaps the cost wouldn't be so extraordinary as put out 10 years ago. One of the reasons why it never got funded, it was a very costly project 10 years ago, and the town didn't have the money to do that. So Bob had asked me to talk to Weston and Sampson and try to get some kind of information why they felt it should be redesigned. Now, whether or not they're going to take the current design that we hold and modify it, that I don't know. When they first gave the proposal, they were proposing that it should be redesigned. They weren't under any contract to start work, so hence that's why where we're at right now is to continue work on that design, whether it's a complete new set of plans or whether it's to revamp the plans that we have now to bring them up to today's standard and code. That's unknown. We haven't had any official meetings other than a little bit of phone conversation. The person that I was dealing with before he resigned from Weston and Sampson is now gone, so he was my contact. We were discussing things, but it was just in a proposal, which I have right here from Weston and Sampson. I'll leave you this because I have it electronically. This was the scope of their work. I have no preference whether it's, Weston and Sampson or Tater and Howard's plans. It makes no difference to me as long as they're to code. And things change over the years, so they have to be in compliance.
Yeah, and their concerns right here say that it is not compliant with the new stream channel standards. I don't know what that is, but if it's not compliant, that's a problem. And it says the culvert as shown cannot be permitted. So right there, those two things alone, to me, means that we would have to redesign it. Now, if they take the existing plan and just revamp it, it certainly should be less money than if they're doing an entirely new design, so.
What I was going to suggest is that we pull together a meeting with the consultant, sit down in a room and invite anyone who wants to sit in to sit down with them and ask these questions, have them explain in detail what they're talking about here, because I don't understand everything as well. I see there's no borings, they said, no geotechnical investigations were done, and so forth. And at some point say, some work has been done that seems to be useful and valid. Is it possible to modify the cost of your contract? I have to think that it would be possible to get the price reduced.
Yeah, I would like to hear some explanation from your engineer regarding these issues on here. I don't feel we have enough information to go forward.
If it pleases the board, I can try to set up a meeting with Weston and Sampson, one of their representatives, to come up here and speak more in detail.
I know I feel more comfortable about it.
I was just, she had to leave. That's what I.
And they've asked for $45,000, and I think the question is, do they really need to spend $45,000?
We gotta have a little clearer picture here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right?
Okay.
Thank you for your
These are the
support.
contracts that they didn't sign. But we have some contracts also that they didn't sign from last time, but
We did skip the third agenda item.
contracts that were not signed last time, or not agreed to last time.
Just to read
Who's next?
Madam Chairman, we're not finished here. We have a couple of contracts that were postponed from the last time. The contract with Murray Paving for $47,750. The contract with All States Asphalt. In other words, these contractors will do street and road improvements for us this year,
This
but we have to
correct?
agree to contract with them. So we discussed it at the last meeting, but we did not go forward with votes of the board.
Okay. Were there any outstanding issues? Any reason we put these on?
I don't know that we have,
There is with.
Well, Murray Paving, I don't believe we have the bond, and it's been over 10 days. We might want to award it to the next All
okay,
States.
we don't have the bond.
I did have a electronic conversation with Steve Johnson, who owns Murray Paving. He was supposed to stop up here and see me about pricing out those 3 projects. I had priced them out, I had put some estimates down, but I wanted the vendors to come up here. So I wasn't aware that he didn't put up his bond until this evening. So whether or not.
I wasn't aware of that until just now.
So whether or not he's
Okay.
void or not, I don't know, and we have to move on to vendor number 2.
Why don't we just postpone that when we have a couple of others? We also have the bids for bituminous concrete for pavement. We have a $383,600 bid received from Massachusetts Broken Stone of Berlin, Mass. No issues with that.
No issues with that. They've done paving in Templeton for decades.
So I ask the board to approve that.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to explain to me exactly what this is, because I've not done this before, and I don't remember talking about this.
Right, I second
So
that.
forgive
as
my
well.
incompetence.
Okay,
All right, Mass Broken Stone is our paving company. They're the ones, when we prepare a road for asphalt, they come in and they apply the new asphalt.
Okay,
So we have to have, and they're also not only it's in place. In place means they come in and they lay it out for X amount of dollars per ton. And then we buy, when we need to buy some ourselves in a dump truck, we go to their plant, we buy it for X amount of dollars per ton for driveway aprons, for doing berm, for road repairs and whatnot. It's a standard thing that we do every single year. Every year, the Board of Selectmen needs to, it's goods and services. It's
Okay.
like gas and diesel, anything else, you're voting on this. So Mass Broken Stone was low bidder, and so we're asking,
and these funds come from your budget?
they come from Chapter 90, mostly.
Okay, so I heard a number of 300 and,
Well,
$83,000?
the number is what we estimate we may put out. We put out an estimated number. That's what the state wants to hear. What do you think you might do? Well, based on some history, we put that number in. Doesn't mean we have to pay them that amount, it means we pay them up to that amount.
okay.
It's just a formality with the state.
So if we don't use that amount of services, we're under no
We're not under
obligation.
no obligation to give them anything. We don't have to pave one road, we could pave 100 roads, you know what I mean? It's,
And this is for the fiscal year.
This is
not-
for
So
this
that
current year.
any work done when the weather breaks in 2016 would be under that agreement.
All righty then.
before July 1 came about, we used that vendor and they paid the senior center
Okay,
under our contracted price per ton.
okay.
Road reclamation, I don't know what you want to,
I think we should I'm not quite sure, although I have to look, I've got so much mail I haven't gone through. If we haven't received it, could we award to them? If not, then the second one, and then we can get it signed?
If not, I don't foresee needing to use the road reclaiming company within the next 2 weeks, so it can wait.
So why don't we just postpone that one?
You can postpone that one, and the third one was rock salt. We're going to go into the state. I'm sorry, it's not the state bid price, this is out of American Rock Salt. It's out of Mount Morris, New York. It's weird where their company, their headquarters are, but American Rock Salt for $77.95 a ton delivered. It's expensive.
And how much, do we have other bidders on that?
Maybe 5 others, 4 others. I think.
4 others, yeah, this was the low bid. Yeah, some of them were up $80, $90 a ton.
That was Eastern Minerals, wasn't it?
This one here is did I say American Rock Salt? I'm sorry, Eastern Minerals, you had it circled too.
And how many ton do we use?
We use approximately 2,500 ton, give or take, depending on the winter.
My only
Do we have
concern is this bid contingent on us accepting within a certain time period?
Usually they put a date on there, 30 days, or I'm not sure what was in the
It was
contract.
actually supposed to be voted at the last meeting.
Yeah, we kind of missed it last meeting, but, yeah, the bid is, their offer is only good for so many, only for a certain time.
I'm afraid if we're going to lock it in, if we wait too long to lock it in, it might not be there.
Well, right now, they're the low bidder, and, if you wait, you might end up paying more, the town might pay more.
No, that's what I'm concerned about.
So,
But
So I understood the calculation, that's $195,000 for salt. If we only have 345 available in Chapter 90, and we just spent 193 on,
Doug?
No.
No, salt is snow and ice.
Oh,
Completely
okay.
different account.
all right,
That's why we have to deficit spend every year, because
okay,
of salt.
all right.
The contract would be for 140,310. It's about 1,800 tons that we estimate.
Thanks.
So we're asking you to vote on salt and bituminous concrete, because currently, right now, we need to buy hot top for our catch basin repairs and driveway and berm we have to put in, and right now, we don't have a contract with anybody to buy any. We haven't bought any. We're still repairing some catch basins, but by the end of this week, we're going to be hot topping small jobs ourselves. And then we can hold off on the reclamation until your next bid and see if Murray comes in with his bond.
all right, let's take these, we're going to pass over the reclamation, correct?
Please.
Now, the bituminous is with whom?
What else am I?
Ask Brokenstone.
Okay, and for the amount of,
383,600.
all right. So do we have a
I'm just-
motion
so
on that one?
What should the motion be, to award the contract?
Award the contract to,
I make a motion to award the contract to Mass Broken Stone in the amount of $383,600 for bituminous concrete.
Second.
have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Julie?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
I will vote yes. That's unanimous. Now, the salt.
I make a motion to award the contract to Eastern Minerals in the amount of $77.95 per ton for highway rock salt.
I'll second that motion.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none. Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
I vote yes, that's unanimous vote. We all done with Mr. Chase?
We need diesel and line painting too.
Diesel and line painting.
Do you have those contracts with you?
Yeah, I gave, it's on that paper.
I haven't seen those.
The low bid for diesel was RJ McDonald at $1.93 a gallon variable rate.
It was a little bit.
What does that say? A
$1.90.
I make a motion to award the contract to RJ McDonald for $1.93 a gallon for diesel, for the highway, no, for everybody, right? For diesel, fuel.
The diesel, and it's a variable rate, so as the dock price goes up, the price goes up.
So, do I need to change my motion?
I would, yes, I would, if I was you, I would award the contract to RH McDonald as low bidder. That's the way you can handle it. Because the price on gasoline and diesel varies, depends on the dock price. It's a dock price plus a percentage. That's the way it's always been. Let me correct that. There's a way you can go in and you can contract it out for a fixed price. The town did that one year, and it cost us phenomenal money because the price of gas went down, but we were under a contract and we had to give them the higher price, so variable is the best way to go.
I'll amend my motion.
Can I ask one question first? Since if it's dock price plus a percentage, why aren't they quoting a percentage versus a dollar figure? I mean, how do we know this guy's going to charge us 3% the whole time and somebody else might only charge 2%?
I believe that's how we had it out to bid. That was the form. It was a dollar price per gallon variable, and then another one for, what's the other one called? Fixed rate.
Fixed rate.
That's just how the form was.
It's the way we've been doing it, Doug, right along.
For years.
It seems to be the best way for the town.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean,
Sometimes it doesn't make sense to me too, to tell you the truth, the way it varies, but
yeah, 'cause, for this $1.93, we don't know what the dock price is and we don't know what the percentage markup is.
I
You
think
know, what did they use for their dock
I
price?
think it comes in on the invoice when it comes in, Every invoice may be different depending on what the fluctuation is.
But the percentage should always be the same.
Just like our heating oil, same.
All right, what is your pleasure here?
I make a motion to award the contract for diesel to RJ McDonald.
We have a second.
Second.
And you seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Diane?
Yes.
Bud?
Yes?
Julie?
I'll abstain.
I vote yes. That's 3 in favor, 1 abstention.
I will sign these contracts. I opened the bids, and we will review each contract before we sign it to make sure that it's in order.
In the line painting?
Line painting.
On line painting.
Okay.
And this is a set dollar amount? Right?
Yes.
Yes.
That it is.
To per year guidelines, that correct? I make a
Correct.
motion to award the contract for $11,500 to per year guidelines for line painting.
All right. Are we all set with Mr. Chase?
No,
There's a motion.
I just made a motion for line painting.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
And I'll second that.
Thank you.
Okay. That is with whom is that contract?
Courier guidelines
Okay.
for 11.5.
11.5, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I usually try not to yell.
All right, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yes, Doug seconded.
All right. Any discussion? Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes?
Julie?
Yes.
And I will vote yes, that's unanimous. Motion carries. Is that it now?
All set.
That's it.
That's
That's
it.
it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Kaplan, we don't have you on the agenda, but I see you're sitting here.
Yes, he is.
Where?
I was being patient. Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
All right, up at the top. I'm sorry I missed that.
No, that's okay, it happens.
Yeah. So, what have you got for us?
Mr. Chair, John Campbell, Director of Veteran Services, your director. Basically, I got some bad news. Mr. Hal Purvis, my co-chair for the Community Veterans Oversight Board, is stepping down. He is resigning his position due to the fact that he is moving to Virginia, to an over 55 plus. Nice little facility, golf carts and stuff, it's really nice. But on a good note, I would like to have Charlene Van Cott be appointed as the co-chair for the Community Veterans Oversight Board. I actually did all the paperwork was submitted.
All right. Now, is Ms. Van Cott currently a member of the board? or-
No, she is not.
Okay. But she's going to be, we vote to put her on the board and she will assume the vice chair.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Anyone have any questions of Mr. Kaplis?
Nothing?
Nothing. If not, do we have a motion?
I make a motion to appoint Charlene Van Cott to the Community Veterans Oversight Board for a term of 1 year.
I second that motion.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none? Julie?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes?
Diane?
Yes.
I vote yes, that's unanimous.
Thank you, Charlene.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you
Our
so much.
apologies. Thank you for your patience.
No
Sorry
worries.
we missed you there. All right, Chief Bennett.
All right. Good evening. We started off last meeting with, I presented to the board that we had some issues raised about parking on Baldwin Road at Mischief. At the time, I was just bringing it to the board's attention that concerns had been made. I was instructed to come back with a plan. I spoke with Mrs. Whittle last week. She had called me up, went over and met with her. She was all excited to show me a plan that her and her husband, I believe, drew up. So she took me outside and showed me this great plan. And then I proceeded to show her my plan, and she said, "I like your plan better." So, what you have in front of you is Baldwinville Road and Boynton Street. Mr. Sundrum also brought up the Boynton Street issue with the parking and for emergency vehicles.
Absolutely.
So, my proposal is, on the southbound lane of Baldwinville Road, where the crosswalk is already assigned, we will put up a no parking beyond this point to the intersection. You can see that's indicated. That'll eliminate the traffic concerns on the intersection. We will put up 4 signs on the northbound side of Baldwinville Road that will say no parking this side of the street. We can also do it as no parking between the signs, the 2 at the ends, and no parking on this side and the 2 middle signs. That'll take care of the traffic on the northbound side. Also, I am proposing that we make Boynton Street one-way northbound. You would enter from Patriots Road. You would be able to access the houses in the Historical Society because the one-way sign would start right in front of Mr. Sundrum's multifamily home, would run all the way down to where it enters, or it comes back onto Baldwinville Road. At that point, you can see the road kind of like L's right there, and we put up do not enter signs so that traffic does not go up. I would think maybe 3 signs on the common side of Boynton, saying no parking this side, so they are not parking on the common. I, for one, don't particularly like vehicles parking on the common. I don't think it looks good for the community. I know that Alan, he's not here tonight, but we talked about it. It tears up the lawn. Also, that roadway is, you can't get by with maybe even a single vehicle with cars parked there. I feel that by just putting up the signs that we have in the one-way would eliminate most of the problems with the parking and pretty much all of the issue with emergency vehicles on Boynton Street.
Mr. Whittle, how do you feel about this? Are you,
Oh, good, yeah, good.
okay, so you guys are all set with that then?
Yeah, we kind of wanted that site posted years ago, and it just wouldn't happen.
Okay. Mr. Chase, how do you feel about this?
I'm good with it.
You good with it? Anybody else have anything they want to say?
So, yes,
Yeah.
I always have something to say. Anyway, so when people are parked on Boynton, like, are you still gonna, yeah, you're gonna be able to go around them, but you're still gonna be on the grass anyway. So,
Yes,
if you're gonna have, like, where you put the no parking signs, it's just a matter of how wide is that gonna be? Because you have the emergency, that's all. It's just not really a question, it's just a statement.
We'll go, what?
To make sure that, because it's
measure
not
out.
wide enough.
Right, we'll measure out from the sidewalk, the normal distance of a regular car.
Yeah.
That's it, and then from the end of that regular car, out to the sign where the sign would be. It's still.
Just like an ambulance?
Yes,
Oh,
correct.
okay, thank you.
Like an ambulance.
Perhaps in the future, when we reconstruct that road, we could make the width a little bit wider.
That'd be awesome.
To accommodate today's traffic.
Yeah.
Still looks like a small paper road, but, you know, part of it. This is a great plan.
They can use their new excavator.
I'm sorry, Glenn, I didn't
I have
hear
no
you.
comment. I think it looks
The
fantastic.
library, the cars can't get around.
Right.
Calls me, I have to go across and
Oh,
plow.
Thank you.
Doug, you want to?
Nope, I'm good with it. I think it's a good plan.
All right.
Great plan.
Okay, I think that we seem to all be in agreement.
Do you need some kind of motion? Can I just make one more comment that I forgot? I think no parking signs in different spaces would work better than no parking between here and this, because depending on how far apart they are,
Right.
people will be like, oh, I didn't notice that, you know?
So I have them designated right now as no parking. I was just saying, we do that for the bus areas at the school. We
Yeah.
put no parking between the signs,
Oh, okay.
and then we put up additional signs in the middle,
Oh, okay.
so.
Got it. You need a motion
So,
from us? Do you just need a
one
yay
quick thing
vote?
before, if we approve this, chief, you're obviously going to have to buy some signs,
But we're gonna get some signs, I'm gonna work with Mr. Chase and
okay?
get it done.
Now, if we approve this tonight, I'm asking this because we had a little issue with Memorial Street, where the signage never got up.
No,
Yeah, so I
that's
just
a
wanna
different
have-
issue, which I am well aware of.
My point is
Yep.
that if we approve something, I think we should have an implementation date. That was
Yes.
hard to say.
Well, the signs on Memorial Street are up.
Yes, yeah.
We need additional signage in some, I was gonna talk to, because this is a different issue, talk to Mr. Chase about some line painting, and some also do not park, because you cannot get an emergency vehicle down Memorial Street if there's cars parked on the same
Right,
side of the road.
right. Well,
Both sides.
Do you mean Boynton Street?
No, this is another issue.
This is
Well, the reason I
another
brought up Memorial Street was that when we initially approved it, somehow the signage never got up, so.
No, it's up.
Well, yeah, I know it is now, but going back to Waldenville Road, if we approve this tonight and we say you implement this by
Believe we had
September
90 days
15th?
last time? Did we have 90 days?
Well, no, the 90 days is because we wanted to do some research on that, but for the signage, I mean.
30?
Yeah,
'Cause we have to-
30. Is 30 enough for
We
signage?
have to order signs, we have to discuss it.
45?
Yeah.
45?
45 days?
45. They're a little slow about making them, but we usually get them in.
Okay, so you don't have to come back here if we said October 30th? Was that plenty of time for you to do that?
Yeah,
Right?
right. That was my point.
Right, well,
We have to have some lead time
right,
before we,
right.
yeah.
Is that a good a time?
Yes.
I don't get to recognize it.
Don?
Hi, this is outside my knowledge base, but I was just on vacation, and I spent the day in Provincetown, and there's very limited parking, very narrow street on Commercial Ave. I don't know if this would be acceptable to the townspeople and to the board, but what they do, instead of they use some signage, but they also paint curbs. And like when I was looking for an open space, just to park real quick to pick up a piece of pottery, it was very clear that, what was yellow was no-go. I don't know if that's something that we want to consider, or if that's not attractive, or, in financial, it might be easier to paint than to buy signs. I don't know.
I think on the common, that wouldn't be very attractive.
Plus, it
mean-
would be paint and granite.
And, oh, yeah, that's right. The edges are granite in the commons, so, yeah, that probably
Okay.
wouldn't work well.
All right, just food for thought, I guess.
I'm sorry,
And
Chief.
repainting is a little wear off, because I thought about painting
All right.
sidewalks on Memorial, so.
All right.
So,
We need a motion.
Do we
Yeah,
have a
I-
motion?
I'm not sure, do we need a motion for this?
yeah, we have to put up signs and we have to, and it's improvements or to the common
You
and,
approve the plan as
Okay.
presented.
yeah, so I make a motion to approve the plan as presented by Chief Bennett with signage and everything being completed by October 30th.
I'll second that.
Move to second. Any other discussion? Anyone else? Hearing none? Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes?
Julie?
Yes.
I will vote yes, that's unanimous. Now, you got anything new on the station, Chief?
Yes, very quickly on the station, that's moving along very quickly. Dr. Hemmon is assisting with everything, discussing the project. He's very in favor of the station addition. What you have there is the schematic plan. I have, board testing was done last week. Mechanical and electrical engineer is coming in on Saturday to go over what we currently have to see what the addition would have to be upgraded to. Dr. Hemmon would like to see this project piggyback with the elementary school project, going right along with it. I also spoke with Luann Moya today about what kind of debt exclusion we would possibly like to present to the town. I know there was talk of a longer debt exclusion. Unfortunately, I think the debt exclusion more of this 6-year range would be better because the building would be on, the new addition would be on, the elementary school would come on, but then the high school is going to come off, and then the addition would come on. So it would be less of a hit, a small portion of a hit to the taxpayers, and that's what I'm trying to accomplish here. I'm trying to accomplish two things: addition at the station, and also be considerate to the taxpayers. So she was thinking more of a 6-year plan. I believe she quoted me right around 55 cents for the 6 years. So we're moving right along. I just wanted to keep you up to date on what it looks like. That's the exterior of the building. It fits right in with the historical fabric of the common. And it would be, this isn't a Band-Aid, as I said. This comes off in 6 years, and you're going to have a building that's not going to need any improvements for at least 25, 30 years. And if there's no more questions, that's all I have.
All right. Any questions for the chief?
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It is, it's very nice.
Yeah, thank you. It certainly will be an upgrade.
I hope. Thank you. Any questions?
Okay. Steve Castle,
Chief,
what's the good word?
can you send me an electronic, send me an email?
Yeah, I still
Okay,
have it.
thank you.
So it seems today that we hit a snag with our contract for the room, to do the camera system in the room. The company that we awarded the bid to, Access AV, does not want to pay the payment bond that was specified in the RFP. And Holly and I had a discussion with the gentleman there today, and he seemed to back out. The other company, Integrated Solutions Group, the higher bidder, also said they would not want to pay the payment bond, but they would pay a performance bond, which apparently is different, and I'm not...
Well, I was going to ask you the difference between the
From
payment...
what I understand, from what he told me, the performance bond is already covered with his insurance company, whereas a payment bond, he would have to float half the amount of the bid. He'd give us a check that we would hold on to until the contract was done.
Would AV Installation be willing to pay a performance bond instead of a payment bond?
I have not been able to go back to him with that
No.
yet.
Okay.
and,
We didn't follow up.
If I remember correctly, the other company was significantly higher?
Yes.
Significant. So, significant.
I talked to them today and asked if we could work with them on that quote, and kicking and screaming, they said yes. So I think we could get them down. I don't know how much. And part of it basically is, not their profit margin so much, but just the equipment they specified for this room. I think, as I mentioned earlier, they specified a $12,000 video switcher. And I know there are $4,000 video switchers, there are $7,000. So I think we could get them down, and they said that they would work with us on that. They may still be able to convince me and the cable committee that we need to go with a better system. So I would hope to get them down around 30, but I think the room is worth 30 to 35. And that's what I expected the bids to come in at, not 23 and 36. So I think the options are to award the bid to Integrated Solutions Group, maybe with the provisions that they make any adjustments to our satisfaction, and if we can switch the mandate for the payment bond to a performance bond, and I'd be willing to work with them.
I thought the bonding requirements were changed from 25,000 to 50,000 last year.
They were changed, and we can do what he's suggesting. We didn't change. We didn't change after the state permitted a different bonding requirement. The payment bond is, I don't think that important. Performance bond, I think, is a significant bond.
Me too.
Payment bond, if they don't pay their suppliers, or it would ensure that the town wouldn't be dragged into this.
Right.
And these companies use their own crews, so I don't think the point's almost moved.
Again, if the state only requires the payment bond on a $50,000 job, then we could waive the payment bond and still go with the lower bidder.
Sure.
If they would do the performance bond.
They're saying the lower bid?
The lower bid if they will agree to a performance bond.
Would you like me to go back and ask them?
Won't hurt.
I think it'd be worth asking.
Worst thing they can do is say no.
They'd have to revise their bid, but they could always, if it's gonna cost them $2,000 to get the bond, or,
Still a low bidder.
increase your price by $2,000, cover your cost. And it's an additional cost to them, so it's an additional cost to the overall project.
I can do that.
Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, do we have any other business, Bob?
Just the exec session.
Just the exec session, all right? Okay, we have a request for executive session for Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21.7, to comply with or act under the authority of any general, special law, or federal grant and aid projects. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Yep, second.
All right. Diane?
Will we be returning to open session?
We will not. Thank you.
And so I will amend the motion to state we will not be coming back into open session.
All right, thank you.
So moved.
All right, we have an amended second.
Yes.
Okay. Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
I will vote yes. We will go into executive session. We're going to take a little recess here, and we'll start at 8:15.